Nate's Nate's strength and his weakness, I think, are the same thing. I mean, I think in many ways his strength is his ability to kind of allow humanity and trust to be a part of his job. And I think the perception from his superiors is that that's a weakness and that it makes him kind of lousy at his job. But I think he knows intuitively that he thinks that he's right in being able to trust, particularly Dominica, but trust certain people. But yeah, Nate's a bit of a loser. But I think he's a lovable, nice guy loser. Look, Jennifer was a big draw card for me. I think she's such a wonderful actress. But, you know, also, and I love Frances, but I think the biggest thing in many ways was the fact that it was a spy movie. And when I was a kid, when I was about 10 years old, I was obsessed with the concept of being a spy. And I had my own little, like, box with binoculars in it and secret recording devices. And it was definitely one of my fantasies when I was a kid, is the idea of espionage. Yeah, well, Jason, who wrote the book, is an ex-CIA operative, and his wife is an ex-CIA operative. And another friend of mine is an ex-CIA, American CIA operative. And yeah, I mean, mainly from talking to Jason and really understanding the human aspects of the job, because, you know, the perception in the movies is often that all of these operatives, they all just are carrying tons of weapons, and they're constantly jumping off balconies onto other balconies, and, you know, all of that stuff, which is great, by the way. Like, I love those movies. But to reduce it to the type of CIA operative who is out there in the field, working a diplomatic cover job, patiently kind of grooming people to bring them across, is a different kind of temperature. It's a different kind of tone, you know? Look, I have to say that whenever anything becomes physical, you know, when you stop getting into just the talky, you know, psychological talking, and you're made to do something that's purely physical, it becomes a sort of a you know, NAR, like no acting required, because you are in that situation. I mean, you know, I'm obviously not being choked for real, but I wasn't able to breathe very well, and I was tied up, and I'm straining against things. So in many ways, it's not as difficult as it would seem. I think, look, I know that there have been stories in the past of actors who hated each other and then still had good chemistry. There are actors who probably were in love on set, and the on-screen chemistry is not so good. So it's an impossible thing to predict, you know, whether what happens on screen is good or bad. But, you know, for this movie as well, I thought it was important that there's a sense of that chemistry, but also a sense that maybe it's sort of a bit mismatched, because, you know, Nate is a little bit older. He's a little bit washed up. He knows what she's about. She knows what he's about. Just to keep that ball in the air, it's like if the chemistry is too good, maybe it negates the story of the potential for the deception. But it's not up to me to decide that stuff. And it's not up for me to decide whether the chemistry is any good or not either. But we had a fun time, that's for sure.